Brandon Wong asks, what do you think are the qualities necessary to be a man? I don't think there are many. Certainly the first question, the first one without doubt, is courage. There's no question in my mind that is the primary quality of manhood, is courage. In fact, I don't know if there's anything beyond courage. Mercy, maybe. What's the word? Compassion. If you are talking about being a man, then you're basically talking about you're basically talking about the difference. When you say what are the necessary qualities to be a man, it's a beautifully constructed question, because it built into the question is the understanding that maleness is a biological state, but manhood is an acquired state and is a far higher bar to clear than maleness. So, needless to say, there are a few women out there who are really excellent men. Shouldn't have to be that way. But speaking to males, what are the qualities necessary to be a man? If you're a male, you're already stronger, faster than women. Far stronger and significantly faster. One of the great problems with our age is this inversion of fact. When I say that men are stronger and faster than women, that doesn't mean that women should be second-class citizens. It doesn't mean that women should be subjugated or any of that stuff. But it does mean that men are stronger and faster, because they are. They're a lot stronger. They're much faster. I realize with some shock myself that if you look at the time of the fastest woman in the world, the fastest woman sprinter on the planet in the Olympics, there's virtually no college in America that doesn't have several men that can make that time. And most high schools have males on their track teams that are faster than the fastest woman in the world. And when it comes to strength, it's even more pronounced. Some people will say, well, I know this woman who's faster than that guy. I can come up with examples, too, to show that the case is the case. So where are we starting from here? Well, we're starting from here, Brandon, because when I say the first quality is courage, men have an obligation, they have a moral obligation to deploy that strength and that speed in defense of people that don't have it. They have a moral obligation to defend people who are weaker than they are. That is what a man does. A man protects the good, and he is willing to do what is necessary to protect the good, up into and including the sacrifice of his life. You don't have to go much further than the Western to understand the essence of manhood as we understand it in the West, in the larger West, which is really the lesser West. But if you really want to understand manhood, all you have to do is just go rent High Noon, because that's really it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know is High Noon. Gary Cooper is the only man in the town, and he is the only one who has to face the incoming evil, because it's easy to hide behind the curtains, especially if you have a family. It's hard to be the one guy that's going to go out there and face these murderers who are going to kill everybody and bring ruin and bring slavery and death to the town. And so nobody wants to be the one person out there, so the only person who is the one person is the person who has the courage to give up everything, including his life, in order to go out there and save the village, the town. The irony, of course, is that if everybody had the kind of courage that Gary Cooper had, if the entire town were out there facing the incoming bad guys at noon, it'd be much easier to defend the town, but that's not how it goes. Mark Twain talks about this often. He talks about the difference between physical courage and moral courage. The fact that if somebody says, boys, we need volunteers for this mission, virtually everybody, I think he used it during the Spanish-American War, there was a call for volunteers to go on some dangerous mission to remove a ship that had been blocked in a harbor, and it looked like it was going to be a one-way suicide mission, and apparently the entire U.S. Navy volunteered, the entire fleet, every single hand on board, every single vessel volunteered. what an incredible culture and how proud we are and so on and so forth. That's physical courage. But Twain makes the point, he said, what if they needed 10 men to go out and do something disgraceful and horrible? Something that if they survived they wouldn't be cheered for, but something that they would be condemned for and spat upon for, but was equally necessary. How many people would volunteer to do it then? And the answer is not all of them. So moral courage is much more difficult. You have to have the courage to face that and the physical courage as well to go out and deal with it. So courage is number one. And then the second thing I think is just courage and kindness, because ultimately that courage has to be deployed to mitigate the strengths that males have. When I say mitigate them, I mean mitigate them against predators, against human predators, which are universally other men. It's not mostly, it's not like almost always, universally. The people doing the murdering and the raping and the killing, they're men, all of them. They're males. They're not men. They're unconstructed males. And so the only defense against these bands of unconstructed males that have plagued us throughout history, and all you have to do is go out in the streets of America's cities today, and not just the cities either. They're out there. They're out there all the time. Roving bands of unconstructed males who never had a father, never understood what needed to be done, are out there preying on the weak and the innocent, and it's up to the constructed males, the males who are constructed, who have been raised in an environment where they understand that they have to do things that are unpleasant and that require courage and compassion. And the only defense against these bands of murdering males are bands of men. And that's why manhood is important. And the idea that you can eliminate men and therefore eliminate rape and murder and crime is to completely misunderstand what manhood is. You need good males to protect yourself against bad males, and that by eliminating this whole idea of maleness, you will guarantee that you will fall victim to people who didn't get the memo. So when you hear these feminists talking about, well, we don't want these boys to play with sticks that look like guns because we don't want them to grow up to be violent, lady, the only chance that you're going to have is that some of these boys will grow up and deploy violence in your defense. That's the only chance, that's the only hope there is. Because out there are people that are not susceptible to your engineering or your memos, and they don't care what you think or what you say. They're going to take everything that you have, and that means everything material, everything moral, and everything physical. They're not going to stop until they've got all of it. And if you don't understand that, you haven't been paying attention. 2 to go.